Okay, let's get started on the TroyBilt 2620. The first thing we'll do is remove the cover, the belt cover, which is here, and we'll remove these 4 bolts. There's 2 on this side, and there's 2 over on this other side, and that will separate the housing that intercepts the snow, where the auger is. Let's do that first. All 4 bolts have been removed. The belt cover's removed. Now we'll go ahead and separate the housing, the front housing, from the back. Okay. I hope you caught that. In addition to that, we'll go ahead and remove this spring on this tensioner. We'll go ahead and either take this bolt underneath apart, take this off of this pulley here, and relieve the tension on that spring, and that'll separate this. Let me go ahead and do that. The unit is separated now. We've taken this belt off of this pulley, and we've taken this spring off from the tension, this tensioner, idler pulley we'll call it. So what we'll do next is separate these two, separate the housing from this, which we've done, but we'll go ahead and replace this belt in this position here now. That's this belt here. The next step we'll do after that is we'll tackle this belt in the back here. This is the friction drive wheel, which is on the back side of this, but this wheel is driven by a rubber friction wheel that drives this belt off of the engine. And we'll get to that next. I've got the housing separated from the unit, and in the back here, I put some blocks of wood to support the engine, just to keep things clean where it doesn't get sloppy with fuel and oil going all over the place. The next thing we'll tackle is this belt. We're going to have to remove this bolt, the bolt and the nut. Just take this off in a way to get this. This is just sleeved around these 2 ears, and then I'll relieve the belt from the pulleys. Let's do that. We've removed the belt. This is the nut I referred to earlier, and bolt that goes in this ear here. That keeps tension, I believe, on the belt. And we'll go ahead and fit the belt back onto the housing. Let's do that. Okay, we're to the point where we've installed the belt. The nut is back in. We'll call that just a guide. We'll tighten this up, and this portion of it is completed. Now we'll move over to tackle the unit itself. Let's go ahead and do that. So we'll remove this nut that's attached to this plate. We're going to remove this spring here, which holds tension on that plate. And then up under here, we're going to remove this spring that goes up to the handle. So it looks like we'll have to remove, in the back of the unit, the pulley. There's a pulley. Let me come out here. There's going to be this pulley right there, and that goes up to the handle, which is up here. Okay, let's go ahead and do that next. Okay, so I've removed this bottom spring that was here. This is for the lever. That's this spring here. I removed this spring here that was holding tension on this plate here down to here. I did back out this bolt on the side here that was holding this plate in also. And I did have to spread the unit apart a little bit to get this to where this is free. So what happens now is this will punch through, and that's out of that plate. Okay, let's move on to the next one. So we removed this plate. We've installed the new belt here around the engine pulley. This tensioner here, there's a spring here that holds tension on this. That's all part of that. This will route that way, and now we'll feed the belt around this wheel. And then if you look carefully, this is flat on the bottom, threaded, but flat on the bottom. It'll fit to match up to that hole there, where you can see it's flat on the bottom and the threads will come through the top. So let's go ahead and do that. We have the wheel back on. We have the belt routed properly with the tensioner. We have a spring that's remounted here to hold pressure on this plate. We have the handle spring. Let's see if we can get that. That's reattached here. And it's in the pulley back here, or excuse me, in the guide back here, which goes up to the handle. And then we have this bolt back in that holds this plate in addition to that spring. That's all in play. So the next step is let's reassemble the housing back to the unit. Okay, we've got both pieces back together. The bolt holes line up here. We will have to put the cover back on here, and we'll have to do this side over here is where these line up also. So let's put that all back together, and we'll see how it runs. Okay, so looks like we're all back together now. The auger's working, drive forward and reverse is working. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please like, subscribe, and share our channel, Money's Ain't Right Garage. I'm Jim McNeill. Thank you for watching.